The game class, which we inherit from in our engine class, implements several methods. We can use these methods as a way to structure our own code. The methods can be grouped into two categories. The first four methods are usually called when the game starts, or in the case of the unload graphics content, when the game ends. The main difference is that they are not called in the main game loop. These two methods gets called repeatedly, many times every second. We can start with these up here though. The constructor was the method that had the same name as the class. So in our case, the constructor method would be called engine. It should be instantiating objects. This is where you will use the keyword new a lot. The second method is initialize, which will set all the variables to the values we want them to have. The load graphics content method will load all the code and all the images to the memory of the graphics card, unlike initialize, which loads everything to the RAM on the motherboard. And sometimes we will need to unload graphics from the graphics card. We'll talk more about that later on. Once we have finished setting up, XNA will continuously call update and draw repeatedly. The reason why there are two methods is because the update will update the game logic, such as moving around the sprites, images, getting input from the mouse or the gamepad, keeping track of the score of the player, networking code, sound code, and so on. The draw method, on the other hand, will only draw images to the screen. The reason why they have separated this into two different methods is because the update method will for sure be called every loop. And if there is time left over when you have finished doing the update, then it will also call the draw method. If it doesn't have time to do that before it is time to call the update loop again, then it will skip the draw loop. This is good because network code will always run, for example. So it doesn't interfere with other players, it doesn't slow the server down in any way. It is bad because since draw doesn't get called, sometimes the graphics are a bit choppy for the player. There are ways to force XNA to always call the draw method if it is, for example, a single player game, and we might get into that later on. In addition to this, I usually group code using regions. They are just a directive that you can put in your code to group the code, and then you can hide it. You see, when you have a region defined like this one, you get a little box on the side where you can collapse and expand the code if you don't want to see it, if you're working on some other code and it's cluttering up the screen, for example. Okay, let's go over to the real code and put all of these methods into our code so that we have all 6 of them in there.